Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Sweden's Prime Minister has resigned after 7 years in power, having lost a vote of confidence last week over a controversial plan to ease rent controls for new build apartments. Stefan Löfven's resignation means the Parliament Speaker is now tasked with finding a new premier. Löfven is the first Swedish leader ever to lose a confidence vote in the parliament after the Left Party withdrew its support for his centre-left government over its housing market plans. Marine Le Pen's far-right party has suffered a serious electoral blow when it failed to win a regional election in its stronghold in the south of France. The National Rally hoped Provence would be its first regional victory, but it was won by centre-right Republicans. Ms. Le Pen sought to win one of France's mainland regions for the first time in a bid to boost her presidential election hopes in 2022. She accused rivals of forming unnatural alliances to block her and her party from power. Australian leaders have held an emergency meeting after a spike in COVID infections.
So have to be prepared for the numbers to go up considerably.
An outbreak in Sydney linked to the highly contagious Delta variant has grown to 128 cases. Cases have also been recorded in the Northern Territory, Queensland and Western Australia. Officials say it is a critical time for the country, which has kept case numbers low with border closures and lockdowns. The escalation in COVID infections has prompted lockdowns in the cities of Sydney and Darwin, as well as restrictions across 4 states. Hong Kong police have arrested a former senior Apple Daily journalist at the airport while he was attempting to leave the city. The journalist is the 7th staff member of the now closed pro-democracy newspaper to be detained after police accused them and the paper of foreign collusion under the national security law. The Apple Daily was forced to print its final edition and cease operations on Thursday after the company's assets were frozen. Trading on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is finally underway in the afternoon after its morning session was cancelled due to extreme weather. The decision to open the market came after the government cancelled an earlier black rainstorm warning. The city has 3 levels of warning, with black being the highest after amber and red. Landslides and flooding were reported in some parts of Hong Kong as it was hit with high amounts of rainfall. Canada has recorded its highest ever temperature as the country's west and the US Pacific Northwest endure an unprecedented heat wave. British Columbia soared to 46.6 Celsius, breaking an 84-year-old record. A heat dome of high pressure parked over the region has set new records in many other areas. The US and Canada have both warned citizens of dangerous heat levels that could persist this week. The high pressure zone is enormous as it goes from California right up to Canada's Arctic territories and stretches inland through Idaho. People in the Democratic Republic of the Congo's city of Beni have woken up to a curfew on Monday after 3 bombs rocked the east of the country. On Sunday morning, a makeshift bomb went off in a Catholic church in the city, injuring 2 women, followed just hours later by a suicide bombing outside a bar. Although it's not yet known who was behind the blasts, a rebel group called the Allied Defense Forces carries out frequent attacks in the region and has targeted churches before. And finally, Russian ornithologists are employing an unusual method to deter poaching of rare falcons: tattoos. At the Altai hatchery on the border of Mongolia, ornithologists are tattooing the word SOS at the base of falcons' beaks. They say that bird catchers can easily take the identification rings off and make falcons saleable again, and no one will know that the birds come from the hatchery, but the tattoo will be an additional protection. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.